Program.
Thank you, Jim.
Opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim started the ball rolling, started this whole business of trying to seek defections from the opposition. Now he's been beaten at his own game. Some commentators are suggesting that he's to blame for the whole Perak crisis. Is that fair analysis?
Well, he has to bear some blame for it, but I don't think he should bear the full blame for it. There are many actors involved, really, and the defections were rather unexpected. And two of these defections were by people who were facing trial for corruption, and they of course did not have any way out. And when the ruling coalition came, the federal government came and offered them to defect. So, well, it was quite an easy decision for them to make, really, to jump over. What's surprising is the woman from the DAP defecting. That shocked a lot of people. The other defections were somewhat expected.
So are you suggesting that it was an easy decision for the two defectors who face corruption charges because they think they're going to get an easier time than would have been the case before?
Well, if they had been found guilty of corruption, they would have had to resign. Now, by jumping over to the side of the federal government, chances are that their trials might be postponed for quite some time, or they might actually get off. That is the suspicion anyway. And the whole thing started with a BN person defecting over to the opposition, and then 10 days later he defected back. And along with him went the other three. So one suspects a rat here. One smells a rat anyway. That there was a trap laid, and the Anwar's coalition actually fell for it.
There are rumours that UMNO will try to use the same tactics in Kedah State and try to topple the government there. How difficult would that be, and would it be a wise move?
Judging from the electoral results from last year, I would say that at least three states are in the front line. That would be the state of Perak, Kedah, and Negeri Sembilan. Now, all you needed in these three states was to get 3 or 4 people to defect, and the government would change hands. And that's what happened in Perak. So we now have the case of Kedah and Negeri Sembilan. There is going to be a by-election in 2 months' time in Kedah. And if the federal government should win that one, then the chances of them trying even harder to get at least 2 more defections from the coalition under Anwar is to be expected. So these frontline states are actually hanging in the balance, yes.
Is all this party hopping a sign that the days of the UMNO ascendancy are now over? Is it a consequence of the reduced authority of Barisan Nasional after the setbacks of last year's national elections?
One can definitely see it that way, yes. Before March 8 last year, the Barisan Nasional, the ruling coalition, was unchallenged and could not be challenged. And then suddenly we had this very surprising voter revolt, as I call it, last year, March 8, almost a year ago now. And after that, the Barisan Nasional, and especially the dominant party in it, the UMNO, have been trying to stabilize themselves and get back into the thick of things. We've had 2 by-elections since the general elections, and both times the BN lost. So the chances of them losing more by-elections are very strong. So what we see here is that the BN is deciding to go for defections instead of trying to concentrate on elections.
Najib Razak will be Prime Minister by the time of those by-elections, one in Perak and the other in Kedah. How important will it be that Barisan Nasional wins those 2 elections?
It is strange that the by-elections have been placed so late in the day. According to the Constitution, if a seat becomes available and by-elections have to be called, these have to be called before 60 days are over. Now, in these 2 cases, these by-elections are called 57 days before they had to be called. And this happens to be just after the party elections of UMNO. Now, these elections in Malaysia before last year anyway, used to be the most important elections to watch, the UMNO elections. And that will be the same this year, I think. So Najib is, unless something very unexpected happens, is going to become the president, and at the end of March, he will become the prime minister. So if you put the elections, the by-elections after that date, then being prime minister, he wouldn't be personally responsible for running the campaign. That position will go to his new deputy. And also, by placing the by-elections so late, the UMNO elections will not have to bother with it too much until they've sorted their internal business.
Very much like a game of chess. Ooi Kee Beng, thanks very much for joining us on News Hour.
Thank you.